Consumer protection is well known to the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. Created in 1889, the department has for more than 80 years broadened, intensified, and refined its operations to assure quality in products and services. The department provides consumer protection through enforcement of regulatory laws pertaining to agriculture and to the consuming public. As producers, processors, and consumers, you deserve to know there is a well-defined and competent agency in state government to which you can look for the best in consumer protection and service. This is our job. Won't you join me for the next few minutes as we observe some of the many functions the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services performs to protect you.
Virgie has really had a busy day, but where did the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services come into the picture? Well, let's take a closer look. Virgie and her family are starting the day the right way, with a good breakfast. And she doesn't have to worry about the food being pure and wholesome. She knows. You see, this is where consumer protection begins. All of these foods, milk, eggs, bacon, toast, orange juice, and even the coffee are systematically tested by experts to make sure they meet rigid standards prescribed by the food laws. These foods have been checked by precise chemical analysis to make sure there is nothing harmful in them. Inspections are made by trained personnel to ensure sanitary production conditions. Food labels must be accurate in their statement of content. Virgie doesn't have to worry because the department has done its job. Breakfast finished and the kids out to play, Virgie has a lot to do.
Let's see, material, Catherine's medicine. I'd better get some gas.
She needs gas, and she'll probably buy it without giving it a thought. She's safe. The gasoline has been thoroughly tested for impurities. If she buys 94 octane, she'll get 94 octane. Because, you see, samples of this gas have been carefully analyzed in the department's laboratories. Virgie, like most people, has probably never noticed this seal. It shows that an inspector has checked the pump to make sure her $4 purchase will be exactly $4 worth of gasoline. Motor oil has also been carefully analyzed to make sure the label and contents agree. Virgie's not an expert on oil, but that's okay, because the department assures her that if the label says SAE 30, it is exactly that. Brake fluid, too, must stand up under the most rigid inspection. It's all registered and must meet strict requirements, or else it's removed from sale. The fabric shop may seem like an unusual place for the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, but Virgie is protected here too. Like many other homemakers, Virgie enjoys sewing. This time she's making curtains and needs 7 yards of material, and it will have to be measured. Will she get 7 yards of material? Yes. The department makes sure of it. The measuring device has been inspected for its accuracy, so when she pays for 7 yards, she gets 7 yards. The yellow seal ensures it. Even the yardstick has been checked. When you're sick, you trust your doctor. And when you need to have a prescription filled, you trust your pharmacist. The pharmacist relies on his scales to accurately fill the prescription. The prescription is wrong if the scales are wrong. They have to be correct. They have been inspected, tested, and approved. Florida is unparalleled in its wide variety of gardening and landscaping plants. Their contribution to the natural beauty of the state makes the job of protecting them against insects and diseases, as well as the enforcing of strict grades and standards, a very important one. If Virgie buys a diseased plant at a nursery, she could endanger the other plants in her garden as well as those of her neighbor. The department sees that this doesn't happen by making sure that plants sold in Florida nurseries are healthy and of high quality. And here's something else we hear a lot about today: pesticides. Florida has strict regulations for control of pesticides in our environment. Dealers licensed to sell pesticides are spot checked frequently by pesticide specialists. Emphasis is placed on the sampling and analyzing of fertilizers, so Virgie can be sure of what she is getting, or rather, what her flowers are getting. Here's a familiar sight in Florida. Fruit stands are frequently checked by fruit and vegetable inspectors. These inspections have led to a vastly improved quality product handled by roadside stands. That's a good choice: fresh Florida peaches. Virgie spends important time each week in the grocery store. When she shops, she wants full value at a fair price. Naturally, if she's paying for 2 pounds of hamburger meat, that's what she expects to get. The pre-packed scale that weighs the meat has been carefully calibrated for accuracy. There's the seal. Tests are made with sophisticated equipment to guarantee that the hamburger has no more than 30% fat, the maximum allowed by law. Diet drinks are monitored in department labs for cyclamate and saccharin conformity. Vegetables are carefully inspected to guarantee that they are fresh and free of harmful residue. One more stop to make: the fish market. Samples have been sent to the department labs for various tests, including wholesomeness, mercury content, and other residues. Sanitation measures and overall cleanliness are also checked. The production, development, and conservation of Florida's vast natural resources is but another of the many services of the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, combined with all the other abundant resources which make for well-balanced and enjoyable living. Florida's forests, soil, water, and wildlife make a substantial contribution. What a perfect way to complete a busy day: a relaxing picnic in Florida's great outdoors. The Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services is privileged to have a part in making Florida even a better place for Virgie and her family.